Welcome to this programming tutorial. Today we will be looking at variables and data types. Let's start by looking at data types. A data type is a way of telling a program how we intend to use the data. Remember that we will be writing all of our code between the curly brackets of the main subroutine. The first data type is a character, shortened to char. This is a single letter, number, or symbol and is typed with single quotations. The second data type is a string. A string is a collection or list of characters and is typed with double quotations. It is important you distinguish the difference between a character and a string, as the quotations will cause an error if used on the wrong data type. The third data type is an integer, shortened to int. This is any whole number that can be either positive or negative. The fourth data type is a real number. In programming, think of real numbers as decimal values. We can represent a real number as a double or a float. A double is a more precise decimal than a float, but it takes up a bit more storage. The fifth data type is a boolean, shortened to bool. This is a true or false value. We use data types to help a computer understand how to interpret a value. We will look at this in a later video. Next, let's look at variables. A variable is used to store and reuse data. Let's look at an example. Imagine two foxes having a conversation at a distance. This box in the middle is our variable, and it will be used to store data. The first fox has the box, and it calls the box name. It does this so the other fox knows exactly what is in the box. You can give a variable any name you want, but you should always make it relevant to the data stored inside it. The first fox is going to store a string that reads, "What is your name?" The second fox reads the variable name and then takes the data out of the box. The second fox reads the data and then changes it to the name Pepper. The second fox puts the data back into the variable. Remember that a variable can have data inside of it changed. The first fox then removes the data and reads the second fox's name. Now let's look at how we can use variables in C# programming. First, you need to declare the data type. This is important as your computer will want to know what data is being stored. However, you will only need to declare the data type the first time you create a variable. You don't need to declare the data type when you use a variable or change its contents. Second, you need to give the variable a name. This can be anything, but at GCSE and A level, it must be relevant to the data stored in it. Third, you need to add an assignment operator. This is a single equal sign. A single equal sign symbolizes that you want to store something into a variable, hence the term assignment operator. Fourth, you need the data you want to store. Remember that it needs to be formatted properly. Note that you don't need to store data in a variable, you can just create an empty variable. Lastly, you need a semicolon. Think of a semicolon as a full stop. You'll be adding them to most lines of code. Let's create a variable to store all the data types we learnt about. You might notice an error with my character variable. This is because I used double quotations instead of single quotations. So let's fix that. If you want to change the data in a variable, you can write the variable without the data type declaration, and use the assignment operator to change what is stored inside the variable. Programming reads instructions from top to bottom, so remember that any variable changed will not be registered until the program reads that line. Everything above this variable will read the name as Jane Smith. Everything below this variable will read the name as John Smith. In our next video, we will look at how variables can be used. Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope you have found it helpful.